Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Dearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And remember, no matter who you are valid. And welcome to this brand new day in which I got to check the time because I have laundry in the dryers. Yay for laundry day. Life is life. I have rice a-cooking in the rice cooker. I have spices that I've already put in the rice, and it's a cooking. So, yay! Because foolishly, I didn't make up rice yesterday, and so I have no rice to eat today. And what a change, because I eat so much rice. I was actually walking to Walmart this morning. I had to go to the bank, and then I stopped at Walmart on my way back. And on my way there, I was thinking, with all the rice I've been eating, whenever I've been hungry, I've eaten rice. I stand in Walmart now, and I have habit only that makes me buy like a bag of candy. Not like this, one of those like dollar bag things. It's only habit that makes me buy stuff like that. Because when I think about it, I feel no real desire to go and buy junk. I want rice instead. I went to Walmart today, and the only thing that I ended up buying, and I went through the aisles on the snack stuff, is some chili. Because I mix in chili with my rice, and I have a full meal that way. I don't want to eat chips anymore. Part of that is my body has changed. I have craved salt my entire life. I inherited salt cravings from my mother, and I have put salt on everything. Back when I had teeth, I liked to put so much salt on stuff I could feel the salt crystals crunching. I have, the last 2 times I bought chips, regular corn chips, salt and vinegar. I could not taste the salt that I put on the chips. All I could taste was the slightly stickier and heavier, forms a clump that washes away, anti-caking stuff they put in it. I didn't taste any salt. I tasted the chip and the anti-caking unit stuff. I saw steam coming out of there, so I was amazed. Yay! So that's great. I can't taste salt that way. I thought the salt and vinegar potato chips, they taste like potato chips with vinegar on them. No salt. So that's joyous. I can't taste salt anymore. So, yeah. Past that though, I don't crave sugars and junk anymore. I'll eat them if they're here. I've discovered one of the reasons I have no self-control over things like snacks. Because if I have snacks, I eat them. I can buy 3 days worth of snacks, and I'll eat them all in one day. I know I have no self-control. I've gotten better because I don't buy the junk anymore. I don't have the cravings. But I watched a video, a science channel, about why your body does this. When you even just think of food, your body begins what is known as the cephalic process. It gets you ready to start eating food. Your guts start priming up. You start thinking about it. You want to eat. And all you did was think about food. And now your gut wants food. So all you have to do is think about food. And you want to eat. How are you supposed to defeat it if you smell food? Your entire body is now geared up to eat. So joyous on that. Which, of course, coming back to my cryptid setting, because I posit that the cryptids in the cryptid setting, especially the human ones, all of them but the human ones that I write about, all cryptids in my setting crave human meat. It's not that they want to eat us because they want to eat us. It's just that they crave something. They can't name what it is, but it is a click above our reality, and the only thing it clings to is us. And they want that. And part of it is, of course, they get it through eating us. I've lost my train of thought on where I was going with this, so that's joyous. Oh yeah, getting your system ready to eat. Because they like to eat us because they crave this thing. And within the first 6 hours of a human being dying, this energy level and stuff starts to fade. After 6 hours, there's none of that energy that they crave. But with this energy, imagine the best food that you could possibly eat. Crank that up to 11, double it, and that's the bare minimum of what human meat tastes like to cryptids. You take it after 6 hours, and it's still above the best thing you've ever eaten otherwise. Just simple, unadorned, plain, raw human meat. When we walk up to them, their bellies start to grumble loudly because they're getting ready to digest you. But you have to follow your nature. And the nature of cryptids is very limiting in this fashion. All cryptids want to eat you. But if it's not within their nature, they're not even going to think about it. Like cryptids generally, except for the more recent generations, they don't eat people. They want to. You're going to hear their guts grumbling when you walk up, but they're not going to. It's not within their nature. Most dark cryptids, a good 98% of them, don't have to eat human beings. So act within your nature. It's a genetic imperative, so they can't, even if they want to. I mean, they could, but they would be violently ill, mentally, physically, emotionally. So that's something you don't want to replicate. So yeah, they get ready to digest you, but since it's not in their nature, and you're a friend, you'll walk up and they'll start doing things like popping human teeth into their mouth to start sucking and chewing on, or a handful of human meat jerky, or maybe a bottle of hema-cola with, it's sweetened with pure human blood plasma. So they get that human infusion into their diet without having to eat you. So thumbs up for that. Back to another subject. On the whole gaming thing, I've got my one character, Compton. Originally thought of as a gal, now I'm not so sure, but we shall see. I'm not quite... It's weird that the character hasn't gelled yet, even though most of the character has. The humans that have come up off the lower southern continent in this setting for the game I'm doing, they've been coming upward, and they've been living for many generations, a couple hundred years up, slow immigration upward, and the L's slow immigration at the Dwarling. Downward, just a mixing. And this person that I'm working with, Compton, had been living near a metropolitan city, and lived by themselves in a smaller town. So it wasn't a bumpkin, not a rube, but not an urban character either. Now, one of the creatures that you'll find actually on many continents, so this process occurred before the land bridge cut off the continent of Carthage. There are Koth, which are feral Apani Hulat, which are the Api. They're about 3 to 4 feet tall. They're farmer types. But this branch went feral for survival, and intelligence is not necessarily a survival trait. They have degenerated into just pure animals. They are canny, they are cunning, but they are not smart like people. They're between 2 and 3 feet tall, and one of them, unless it is starving or sick or injured, isn't going to be a threat. It's going to run off. They're like bigger rats, people consider them as. 2 of them, again, if they're not starving, injured, or ill, you might have to fight, but if you've got a weapon, you're going to be okay. If you got 3 of them, that's going to be tough, because unless you got your back to a wall, you're going to be facing them. There's always going to be one at your back. And they got sharp claws, and they can jump and get your throat from behind. So if you've got 3 of them or more, if you're experienced, you could be okay, and you probably will be. If there's 4 or more, you're probably going to be taken down by sheer numbers. Now I'm talking just civilians and not warriors. So it's something that's out there. People are aware of it because they're everywhere like rats. And they're not a big danger because usually you only find them in 1 or 2 pairs. Compton was out doing something. Came up against one of them. Starving. Battle. And Compton ended up hands around its throat and strangled it to death. Watching it die. Really close. And found that feeling good. Heart beating like it hadn't before, and it felt good. He was scratched up, cut, bit, but it all felt good. He watched the thing that wanted to kill him die instead. But that was just something that happens. And so life went on for a while. Until I figure, hey, a bandit on a road going out at night. With the threat of, hey, you hand over what you got, you just get a beating, but you'll be okay. I figure Compton just, oh, this is my heart. It's beating just right. And instead of running or being hesitant, rushes, gloms onto, keeps the weight of their run pushing backwards while getting their heels caught behind the bandits' heels. They had their hand on their weapon. Compton's wrapped around them, one hand around the other arm, and this hand with the dagger, stab, 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 stab. And then sitting on top of the fallen bandit and watching them die. The bandit wanted to kill Compton, but Compton got them. Sheer luck, of course. No skill, no artistry. But it's the next day, they signed up to emigrate over to Cryptid. And so that's where they show up. After the ride, when they're taught to use, more sword, less dagger, and arriving on the shore for adventure. They're not a psychopath. It wasn't the killing that made them excited. That wasn't it. It was surviving. You wanted to kill me, and I'm still here, and you're not. And that feeling, that beating of the heart, that singing of the blood in his ears, or her ears, that is what got them to sign up and head on over to Cryptid. Cryptid, not quite sure yet how it's pronounced. But yeah, so that's the motivation behind the character. Lanloa is not tame, not by far. There are plenty of spaces on the continent that are unexplored or too dangerous to explore, or just we haven't gotten there yet. Cryptid, where he goes, and all of the goblin type races are the Hulat, the people. There were up north, the area up north that they could not get out of geologically, now is just coated in ice and snow. There are still those that live up there, refusing to move. They are just stubborn, and they're going to stay. Even though life is harsh and hard and cold, they stay. Now, the others, like the Alpani Hulat, the 3 to 4 foot tall individuals, the Api, they discovered an absolute love of farming as a species-wide thing. The Api are happy being farmers. They settle down and they farm. They form communities around farming, and that is what they do. Now, even though it's opened up and the southern continent is so much more inviting and so much better for them to live in, they are not expanding like an invasive species. The Orcani, the orcs, have been a huge influence on all of the Hulat. It's less so now as they continue spreading south, but the Orcani are the ones that live in accordance to nature. They try to leave as little negative effect on the world as possible. They hunt and forage. They don't farm, but when they don't overhunt, they don't overforage, they keep moving. They respect the land, because if you make the land go bad, what are you going to live on? If you treat the land well, the land treats you well. And that got driven into all of Hulat culture before they started the big push southern. So even though that is starting to fade, it is a cultural thing. And so they are trying to live in accordance. Treat the land well, and the land treats you well. Treat the land poorly, the land treats you poorly. And so they're being very judicious in their spreading out. Again, the Appa, I have so much trouble saying that, I'm not sure why. Apani Hulat are the farmers. The Habu Hulat are just the generalists. They're like regular human beings. They do whatever feels right to them. They're more the glue that holds the Hulat together. And then there's the Arcani, and then they're spreading out and living in accordance with stuff. So that is a very good thing. Yay! And that is the whole situation there. Again, it's when the Dwarlin and humans came across the ocean. They didn't go way up north because that's the colder area that's getting up near the pole areas. And it's very cold and very snowy, and it's hard to live there. They came more south, not way south, but more south, and then discovered that that's where the Hulat were starting to spread out on their own. And so there has been a meeting of the minds and trade and immigration going on, and everyone is trying to be as respectful towards each other as possible. The Dwarlin are very Orkani in that they too, well, not all of the Dwarlin, but a large portion of the Dwarlin are like the Orkani in that they try to live in accordance, leave as little a negative an impact as possible. It's impossible to leave no negative impact. They're gonna leave a negative impact. It's just that hopefully your other things will have mitigating effects to make it not that bad. So when the Dwarlin and such are going over, they're already in accordance with the way the Hulat like to be. So there's not a whole lot of, there's friction, of course, between individuals, city-states, such like that, but on the whole, no issue. Now again, if the Karthag continent is like this, everyone's like up in this area. There's this much that has not been really explored. In the area that they are in, with my character of Compton, they had been up in the more settled area. But one of the corporations, industries, the merchant industries, they want to explore and get stuff. That's where they move like 500 clicks further south, and there's a forest. And with a, it's good clearing, good settlement area that you can get to by water, nice bay, good place. But the actual woods themselves are more superposition in that there's a lot more there than can actually fit. So sometimes more stuff arrives even if you've thoroughly explored an area. And that's where they are. So that's why I'm using 4 Against Darkness right now. Later on, when Compton goes out on their own, I want to use Note Quest. Now, this is, if Compton dies, Compton dies. Maybe I'll play a Hob. Maybe I'll play one of the other things, hard to say. I'm going to be using, as it turns out, a whole mix of systems. Like I say, Note Quest for when he decides to go adventuring off by himself in a thing like that. And Scarlet Heroes, White Box, all these various systems, I'm going to give them all a shot. Now, this is a 2-part process because I'm going off onto something else. Remember, if you talk about something, your brain considers that you accomplishing something, but it's really not. So if you have a 3-part process and you talk about it, it's a 4-part process, and you have to recognize that, or you're going to wonder what the heck happened. I plan on, and it now becomes a 2-part process because I have to do the next part beyond just talking about it, I'd like to do like a game for a month and just do that board game when I'm doing recording of board game stuff, so that we can have everyone gets a good look at it and I get to play it a lot, and then that would be a nice share. Because I don't have the stuff here except for this one. I want to play Mini Rogue for the channel, and I've got Labyrinth, well, Minotaur is what it's called, and all bunch of stuff like that. So instead of just rough one-shots on those. I want to try to, do like one video a month for those. So we'll see what happens, but that's my plan. Past that, it is cold, wet, and rainy. I've done some minor walking to Walmart. I need to do some more. Actually, I got risers and those cables that are supposed to be arriving today. So I'm going to have to walk over to the pharmacy to pick up my packages when they arrive. So more walking is there. But I'm just going to do editing, possibly some recording. I want to get Fallout New Vegas done. So, I mean, not done. This particular form of DLC. So, yay. So, if you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up, thank you. You're a beautiful and awesome person. When you look in the mirror, you see someone who is beautiful and awesome physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I can't put your names up here yet. I'm going to when I can. But until that time, thumbs up and thank you. You help me out so much. For everybody that leaves me comments, I wish I could answer more than I can. This is just awful and I need to get it fixed. And even at that, there's no guarantee it'll make it better. It might just swap problems. It might make things worse. It could end up doing no change after the healing. There we are, speak English. But it's getting worse all the time if I don't do anything. So I wish I could answer more. I can't. Oh, my finger's catching and hurting. Yay. Let's see if they'll pop. No. Oh, except for that one. But thumbs up, thank you. It is appreciated, even when I stop to try and crack my knuckles while I'm recording. It is appreciated to no end. So even though I can't answer as many as I would like, I try to thumbs up and heart each and every one. So thumbs up. So yeah, my day is going to be going. I got to bed early for me last night. Man, got out of bed around 7-ish. It's only 20 to noon right now. I've got my laundry to go get in about 15 minutes. My rice is probably going to beep here pretty soon. Yep, 8 minutes from now it's going to be done cooking up the rice that I started. So thumbs up for that. I'm going to scoop it up into the Tupperware bowls, set it on the floor in the bathroom with a fan blowing on it to cool them down, refrigerate them, and then later on actually eat some food. Which is to say, rice. So thumbs up. I hope your day is beautiful and awesome, and I hope that you can get done what you would like to get done. If you can't get done the things that you would like to get done, please do not beat yourself up for that. It does not help. All you're doing is walking in footsteps you've trod before, and you've left a path. No change is possible. You're just walking through a rut. Don't beat yourself up. It just doesn't help. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will throw my hands around like nothing hurts. And that is a thing. So, you take care and I'll talk to you all later. Oh boy. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. That's sparkling more than I like. Oh joy. Still though, hopefully your day is wonderful.